you've been through a trauma and you feel like something is still not right, it's not just in your head, it's in your brain. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. I help people heal from chronic health situations by understanding their brain's role in it and by understanding how neuroplasticity works and how you can rewire your brain for healing. If you're struggling with trauma, your brain has rewired itself as a response, but you can learn how to take the power back so that you can rewire it to heal. So if that resonates, hit the subscribe button, stay with me here on the channel, and share the video with anybody else who needs it. Okay, so trauma. Trauma is like a fingerprint in the brain. What I mean by that is that when you experience a traumatic event, whether that be what we call a big T trauma, something that happened once and it left its impact in your brain, or complex trauma, what I call paper cuts. You might have 1,000 little paper cuts that have happened over time, but that still adds up to trauma in the nervous system. Those are referred to as little t traumas. Both of them can lead to PTSD. That is when your brain locks itself up in a neuro-rigid protective response. It's designed to protect you, but if you don't process that event and let it move through your nervous system, you can stay locked up for a lifetime. I want you to learn how to use neuroplasticity to free your brain up so that you can feel and perform at high levels again, and you can reclaim your life and enjoy it again. So first, let's talk about what that trauma-wired brain does. What happens is the amygdala, the fear response, can lock up. We also know that you can have memory looping that's happening where you're replaying that event in your mind. We know from science that emotions take 90 seconds to process. After that, you're memory looping. It also can lead to dissociation. Now, dissociation comes from that fear response. And when you dissociate, you're no longer present. Again, it's a protective mechanism, but I want you to get back to being present in your life. Now, why does this happen? This happens from a dysregulated brain pattern, one of too much slow brain processing speed, called delta in terms of brain waves, and also much too much extra fast speed called high beta. Now, essentially what happens is your brain is stuck in the outer banks of processing, very fast and very slow. It's at the extreme opposite end of that calm, focused processing speed in the middle. That speed is necessary for you to be able to stay present and to feel good. When the speeds change in your brain, what happens is it can affect your prefrontal cortex up in the front of that area that is designed for thinking. But if you're spinning the wheels and braking at the same time, if you will, this thinking becomes overthinking, but it also becomes overthinking in a paralyzed type of way. It also can affect the hippocampus, where that memory looping of the overthinking happens. Okay, so let's break down what this trauma-wired brain might look like on a qeeg brain map. That's the way that I can visualize how a person's brain is performing to be able to set protocols to move my clients on the way to healing. Well, first and foremost, these extra fast high beta waves, these extra fast waves, they often lead to the feeling of anxiety and panic on the inside. So after a traumatic event, if you still feel anxious, if you are experiencing panic attacks, that is the first sign that your brain is stuck in this overactive mode of high beta. That slow speed in the brain delta, that is what's responsible for the brain fog. It's also responsible for the feelings of chronic fatigue. It leads to that dragging feeling. It can lead to arousal dysfunction where you don't feel like you can get out of bed in the morning. It can lead to emotional numbing. This is the too slow speed in your brain. So ultimately, you feel wired and tired simultaneously. This is autonomic nervous system dysfunction. too much sympathetic dominance, too much of that acceleration in the brain, which leads the brain to overcompensate and hit the brakes, wired and tired simultaneously. Another aspect of the dysfunctional brain pattern occurs in the frontal lobe. It's a parameter known as asymmetry. Now, I love this parameter, honestly. When brains are healthy and performing in an optimal mode, what happens is they actually produce an ideal speed that's a little bit different from left to right hemisphere. The left hemisphere is supposed to run just a little bit faster than the right. So what that means is when the left is running a little faster, that leads to that analytical, logical thinking speed on the left. When the right is running a little bit slower, that's the creative and more emotional aspect. And when the brain is perfectly asymmetrical, it runs well and you can process your emotions. You can think well without the numbing, without the overthinking. When trauma locks up the brain, many times what it creates is alpha asymmetry, too much alpha on the left-hand side. Sometimes that can be coupled with too much beta on the right-hand side. That contributes to the feelings of anxiety, depression, and numbed out feelings like you might feel. Now, this isn't a structural brain injury, but this is a functional brain injury. It's like getting a sprain in your brain. It's no longer operating like it would if you hadn't experienced that trauma. Your brain functioning has changed, but it can change back. Okay, so let me give you a brain hack strategy that you can use at home right now. This is a really cool one, but you want to be careful where you seek out the source for this one. There is a neuromodulation technique that is called binaural beats. That means that you're putting sounds into your brain via your ears, via sound. And what happens is your brain will attune to the frequency of that sound. So I've already told you that if you're experiencing trauma, likely your brain is using too much high beta and too much delta. You really should have it checked on a qeeg to know for sure if this binaural beats is going to work for you in the way that I'm going to tell you though. Disclaimer. So when you use binaural beats, what happens is you put the sounds in each of your ears, but the sound cancels out. So you don't hear the sound. You can listen to music, but your brain will attune. So if you attune your brain to the medium speeds of calm focus, it will help to bring high beta down and to bring delta down and to bring you back up into that calm focus mode of those medium speeds. I like to use an app actually called Brainwaves. So I've used that app a lot, and I encourage my clients to use that app outside of their program recommendations that I make. But when I do, I know exactly what a person's brain is doing, so I can make the recommendation for the setting of the binaural beats. But for now, use a medium speed that is for calm focus. That's pretty generalized and it shouldn't create any ab reactions for you. Be careful going to a different channel or an unauthorized distributor of binaural beats because you can never really know for sure what frequency the sound is at. Okay, let me tell you a personal story of a client of mine, Marcus, and he went from freeze to flow. And I love this idea because if you have experienced a trauma, you could be in a freeze stress response state. Many times that's the case. There's 4 types of stress responses: fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And freeze is the response of trauma. You feel locked up because your brain is locked up. Well, Marcus had experienced verbal abuse at high levels with physical abuse at lower levels over the course of many years. That took a number on his brain. It compensated for the experience that he had by locking itself up, and he had many years of dissociation, again, a protective mechanism. We started neurofeedback in my program, and through the work that he did 10 weeks later, we could see on the data of his brain training that his brain had indeed changed. It had unlocked and the neuroplasticity was flowing again. Now, what did that feel like to him? No more fear. no more anxiety. Now he could flow. And the idea of flow is actually one of a brain state. It's based on the scientific studies of Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, one of my favorite scientific leaders in this area. And what he says is that you can get into flow state in all areas of your life if you capitalize on neuroplasticity. Well, once Marcus got the ball rolling, not only did he get out of freeze, he got into flow. Using neurofeedback, I was able to help him to train down the use of those extra slow brain speed through the use of my neurofeedback program. I was able to set a custom protocol for Marcus to train down those slow brain speeds delta and the fast brain speeds high beta. In this way, every single day he did a session, and it was like a workout for his brain, but it was customized very much to his needs. He did those workouts every single day. And just weeks later, he had improved connectivity across the hemispheres. They were now perfectly asymmetrical in the way that they were supposed to. Those brain waves, delta and high beta, they regulated, they came down. Also, that calm focus in the middle, it came up. This allows not only his brain to work better, but his entire nervous system as it cascades neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, a reduction in the hormone cortisol, that stress response hormone. The neurotransmitters and hormones could cascade throughout his body in a healthier way. This allowed him to connect to people again, to get back on purpose in his life, and to get back to the real life joy that he had wanted for so long, and the life that he deserved. He created safety in his real life. Then he allowed his nervous system to enjoy not only the real safety, but the perceived safety that he gave it also. You know that's so important. So neurofeedback was able to unlock that neurorigidity and get the neuroplasticity cranking again for him. If you're in a position and you've been locked up for too long, please go over to drtrishleigh.com, hit the chronic health tab in the right-hand corner. That will take you to the sibling website, youcanhealthyself.com. You can create a healthy self again. You probably just need a push. Neurofeedback can be the push that you have been waiting for. It is for so many clients. They can see their brains improve on the data in the neurofeedback trend screens. The progress is visualized and felt. But the first step is to have a qeeg brain map performed. This is essential to be able to understand how your brain has been impacted by trauma. More importantly, how it can use neuroplasticity to feel and perform better again. That's what I want for you. So if you're interested, please go over to drtrishleigh.com. Once you get to healthyself.com, download the free guide on how you can heal yourself at home. And if you're interested, call my customer service representatives. They are there to help you understand our process, or schedule a consultation with a brain health professional today on my team. We are here for you. We got your brain for you. Okay, until next time. And remember, you can heal thyself. You just need a little help. I'll see you next time.